Starstruck Explorer, Season 1, Episode 2. New mission begins. 15 years after the events of Nemesis, a new generation answers the call of exploration. We have found lost logs of Captain Sisko. These are the continuing voyages of the Starship Explorer. Its mission to travel beyond known spaces to seek out new worlds, new civilizations, and new understandings among the stars. To explore mysteries where science meets the unknown. To bring knowledge, peace, and discovery back to the Federation. This ship and her crew carry forward a promise that no frontier is too distant, no question too great, and no future too uncertain to face. Starstruck Explorer, Season 1, Episode 2. The Lost Emissary. 15 years after the events of an earlier era, the galaxy is at peace. Admiral Picard, now one of Starfleet's most respected leaders, boards the USS Explorer to inspect its first deep space mission under a new generation of officers. During the voyage, the Explorer discovers a series of encrypted logs left behind by Captain Benjamin Sisko before his disappearance. The logs contained coordinations leading to a mysterious region of space long avoided by explorers. Against the advice of Starfleet Command, the Explorer follows the trial. As the ship enters the anomaly, reality itself begins to distort. Time flows differently. Familiar stars vanish from the view screen. The crew realizes they have crossed into a realm beyond normal space. There they discover that Sisko did not perish. He has been trapped for years in a dimension outside time, searching for a path home. When the anomaly begins to collapse, Admiral Picard and the Explorer crew must risk everything to rescue him. The mission becomes a race against time as the boundaries between worlds break apart. In the final moments, Sisko returns to normal space, but the anomaly leaves behind a warning of an even greater mystery. Waiting beyond the edge of known space. Remember, this is just an unofficial fan story. Starstruck Explorer, Season 1, Episode 2, Story Arc Outline. The sent logs of the lost captain. Open the transfer of command. Admiral Jean-Luc Picard arrives aboard the newly commissioned USS Explorer, a next-generation deep space vessel designed for long-range exploratory missions beyond Federation borders. He is not alone. Picard escorts Commander Ashley Fleming, a highly respected officer selected for transfer, after distinguished service aboard the Enterprise. Upon arrival, she is formally introduced to the command structure of the Explorer. Captain Lee Harris, commanding officer of the USS Explorer, Commander Lawrence Harris, first officer, tactical and operation leads, and brother to the captain. Counselor Annabella Joyce Harris, ship's counselor and emotional stability officer, also Captain Harris's wife. Dr. Annabella's sister, chief medical officer, keeping the crew physically and neurologically stable on long missions. Chief Engineer McNeely, responsible for the Explorer's experimental quantum drive systems. Commander Ashley Flemings, assigned senior command officer under Captain Harris. Klingon officer, Federation liaison, serves as a strategic defense advisor and a culture bridge. Datum. Now, this is where we get interested in something. Datum. Not data, but datum. A newly activated android constructed from merged positronic neural matrix derived from both data lore and B4. Recovered design principles. Picard observes quietly, this is not his crew, but a new generation of explorers. Act 1, the discovery. During a routine system collaboration, Chief Engineer McNeely detects an anomalies. Encrypted signals embedded in deep subspace. Datum deciphers it, which means that he's going to decipher it to figure out what it is. The signal is revealed to be personal command logs of Captain Benjamin Sisko, spanning years after his disappearance. The logs are fragmented, unstable, and partially outside normal time encoding. But one message repeats, I am still searching, but something... I am still searching, but something is searching back. Sisko describes a place beyond map space and existence, not entirely physical, where time folds inward like a corridor with no end. Act 2, the decision. Starfleet Command orders the Explorer to transmit logs and stand down. Captain Lee Harris refuses. With support from Commander Fleming and First Officer Lawrence Harris, the crew determines the logs contained real navigational data, coordinations that do not exist on any known star chart. Picard confirms what others suspect. This is not just a message. It is a rescue beacon encoded according to time itself. Act 3, the gateway. The USS Explorer follows the coordinations into deep, uncharted space. They encounter a structure resembling a transformer temporal gateway, similar in concept to ancient Bajorn wormhole phenomena, but artificially stabilized. The Klingon officer identifies it as a door should not exist, yet does. The gateway reacts to Sisko's encoded frequency and opens. Inside it is not space, not time, but the layered reality where moments overlap like reflections is shattered glass. Act 4, The Lost Captain. Within the anomaly, the crew detects a life signature. Captain Sisko. He is alive, but displaced across shifting temporal strata. He has been trapped for what feels like decades, through only moments may have passed in normal space. He warns them, something is this realm feeds on direction, identity, and memory. To extract him, they must stabilize the corridor long enough to pull him through. Act 5, The Rescue. Datum links his positronic matrix with Sisko's encoded logs to anchor his position. McNeely reroutes the warp core into a temporal stabilizer. Commander Lawrence coordinates evasive maneuvering as reality begins to fracture. Counselor Joyce Harris maintains crew physical and coherence as temporal echo affect perception. Ashley Fleming leads the away team simulation from the bridge corridors, the extraction window. Picard as observer and strategizes and gives final command. Bring him home. Climax collapses of the corridor. The gateway destabilizes. Sisko begins to fade between status and existence. As the last possible moment, the explorer locks onto his signal and pulls him through. The corridor collapses behind them. Silence. Then a single life sign appears aboard. Captain Benjamin Sisko has been returned. But he is not unchanged. He carries knowledge from beyond the boundary, knowledge that something else noticed the instruction. Ending hook. A crew, as the crew celebrates, Datum quietly reviews residual data in the logs. He dedicates something new. He discovers a second signature embedded within Sisko's message. Not Bajoran, not Federation, not human, and it is now awake. We did not bring him back from death. We brought him back from somewhere that may have never intended to let him leave. The logs of Captain Cisco as Data listens in his corridors. They were layered, each one existing slightly out of sync with the next. Cisco's voice carried through them like echoes trapped in glass. If anyone is listening to this, then I have failed to find my way back. There is a place beyond the unknown quarters of space. It is not location, it is a decision made by reality itself. Data listens over and over and tries to find more ways, but Captain Cisco is back. Datum has brought back uh, the lost captain. The ship crossed and everything changed. Inside the gateway, there was no direction, only layered existence, past, present, possibility overlapping, and there a signal weak, fading, human, alive, Captain Cisco. Chapter 8, The First Contact. Cisco's voice was not steady. It came in fragments. Do not stay long. It noticed when you arrived. Ashley Flemings cleared her counsel, who notices Cisco's final coherent message answered. Something that was here before us and will be here after. The corridor began to collapse. Chapter 9, The Rescue. The USS Explorer became a lifeline between realities. McNeely pushed the engines beyond safety limits. Datum locked onto Cisco's signal like an anchor in the storm water. Picard gave the final command. Now, bring him home. The extraction beam fired. Reality resisted, then released. Chapter 10, The Return. Cisco collapsed onto the deck of the Explorer, alive, breathing, but not unchanged. Doctor, we need assistance. His eyes carried something distinct and distant. Something that did not belong in this universe. As a crew gathered, Datum quietly spoke. There is a secondary signal inside his memory structure. Ashley Fleming asked, "What kind of signal?" Datum replied, "It's not known because it is no origin." Epilogue. The thing that saw them. Far beyond the Explorer, something observed, not hostile, not friendly, curious, and now aware, because the ship had entered the gateway, and something had looked back. End of Book 1, Season 1 Setup. Starstruck Explorer, Book 1 continued. The Lost Logs of Captain Sisko. Chapter 11, The Man Who Returned Wrong. The USS Explorer was no longer the same ship that had crossed into the anomaly. It had brought something back with it. Captain Benjamin Sisko lay in the medical bay, surrounded by soft bow-lights panels and the quiet hum of stabilizers that struggled to understand him. Dr. Mariah Harris, Chief Medical Officer and sister to Counselor Joyce Harris, stood over him with a scanning wand. Trembling slightly in her hand. "This doesn't make sense," she said. Commander Ashley Fleming stood nearby, arms folded, watching the monitors. "What doesn't make sense?" she said. Dr. Harris hesitated. "His body is human, completely human, but his cellular structure, it's like it has been rewritten by something trying to imitate life rather than preserve it." On the other side of the room, Counselor Joyce Harris watched silently, feeling something she could not explain. A pressure, non-emotional, non-physical, psychic. Something older, much older than thought itself. Sisko's eyes opened and he was awake, but not fully. Here, Sisko looked at them one by one, Picard first, then Ashley, then Captain Lee Harris. Then finally he stopped, as if listening to something no one else could hear. "You brought it with you," Sisko said quietly. No one spoke. "You opened the door again," he continued. Captain Harris stepped forward. "We come to rescue you." Sisko shook his head. "No," he said. "You came to restart it." Chapter 12, The Second Signal. The engineering chief, McNeely, had stopped all non-essential systems. Datum stood beside him, still and silent. "There is a second harmonic forming in the data stream," McNeely said. "That is incorrect," Datum replied. Nearly proud. "What do you mean, incorrect?" Datum turned his head slightly. "Because it's not forming. It is remembering." At that moment, every console on the Explorer flickered. A pause traveled through the ship. Not electrical, not digital, something deeper. As if the ship itself had briefly remembered something it was never meant to know. On the bridge, Picard felt it instantly. He closed his eyes and whispered, "It has noticed us." Chapter 13, The History That Should Not Exist. Sisko was brought to the briefing chamber. The senior crew assembled. Commander Ashley stood beside Captain Lee Harris. Commander Lawrence Harris monitored tactical overlays. Counselor Joyce maintained emotional stabilization. protocols across the crew. Datum recorded everything but did not analyze. Picard stood at the center of the room. Cisco, Picard said calmly, "What is there? What is out there?" Cisco looked for a long time, then activated the holotable. A projection formed, not of space, not of time, but of something layered beneath both. "I didn't die," Cisco said. "I was relocated." "To where?" Ashley asked. Cisco hesitated. "To a place where cause does not come from effect." Silence. Then he added, "And something there is learning how to follow us back." Chapter 4, The Klingon Warning. The Klingon officer had not spoken since Cisco's return. Now he stepped forward. "This is dishonorable space," he said. Captain Harris turned to explain. The Klingon's eyes narrowed. "My people have legends, not stories, warnings." He pointed at the hologram. "This is a realm of unbound. No star maps, no empire, no god claims it. And anything that enters it becomes incomplete." Ashley frowned. "Incomplete? How?" The Klingon looked directly at Cisco. "Some return, but they are no longer whole in time." Cisco did not deny it. Chapter 15, Decision. Starfleet Command ordered immediate withdrawal again. Captain Lee Harris read the transmission, then turned off. "The ship is not a carrier," he said. "It is not a retreat vessel. It is the USS Explorer." Picard watched him carefully. "And what do you propose?" Picard asked. Harris looks toward the view screen. "Finish what we started." Ashley stepped forward. "I'm with him." Commander Lawrence followed, "As I am." Counselor Joyce said softly, "If we have to open, it will continue to bleed into us." Picard finally nodded. "Then we understand each other." He stepped back. "And now we go deeper." Chapter 16, The Edge of the Unreal Space. The Explorer entered the coordinations again, but this time the anomaly did not open. It recognized them. The Klingon officer tightened his grip on the council. "It remembers us," he said. Datum tilted his head. "Yes," he said softly. "It does." The ship was pulled forward without propulsion. No warp signature, no engines responding. Only intensibility, and then reality folded. They were inside again, but it was different. Less stable, more aware, and waiting. Chapter 17, The Thing That Learned Their Names. The bridge lights flickered. No malfunctioning responding. Ashley started at her console. It's mapping us, she said. McNeely looked up sharply. That's impossible. Datum spoke. It is not mapping coordinations. It is mapping identity. Picard stepped forward. Explain. Datum's voice lowered. It is learning what we are called. A pause. Then the ship's internal speakers activated. Not an emergency system, not a computer voice, something else. A new voice, quiet, uncertain, and repeating. Picard, Fleming, Harris. This ship shuddered. Cisco whispered, it's waking up. Properly now. Chapter 18, the first contact with the unbound. Ahead of them, space tore open, but not violently, deliberately. If something was parting a curtain, and behind it, not emptiness, not stars, something watching. Not an object, not a being. A presence shaped like understanding itself. The Klingon stepped back intensively. No, he whispered. Cisco stood slowly. That it, he said. That's what brought me here. Picard narrowed his eyes. What is it? Cisco answered. The thing that never learned the difference between observation and participation. The presence moved, and the Explorer systems responded like a nervous system reacting to a thought. End of chapter section. Book 1 continues.